Hey everybody, it's Mama Juju from Music Mamas on the Move podcast, and we're in Nashville, Tennessee today interviewing Zac Woodward from 107.5 The River.
Hi, Mama Juju.
What's going on?
Can I hug you?
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely.
Mama Juju.
Oh,
I'm obsessed with you.
oh,
I'm excited to be here.
we love the fact that you granted us an interview. You're a busy guy. You got a lot of stuff going on. You're on the air every day. I mean,
I do think it's so important to hang out with our people.
absolutely.
And you are our people.
Absolutely. And I love being your people, and I love we have a connection now in
Yeah.
Nashville with that. I met you through your brother Jeremiah, who was
Yep.
one of my Bonnaroo kids. They all know that once they get in with us at camp, then they're mine forever, whether
Then
they
they're
like
stuck
it or
with
not.
ya.
They are. They're
They're stuck with you. Sorry, babe.
for life. For life.
My little brother, just so you know, is behind the camera laughing right now saying yes.
Yes. But we, and I've started saying over and over recently that the music finds you, but also the people that are for you and meant for you will find you as well. And I love that I have that connection with you all.
I agree with that statement. I have a weird question for you. I know that this is your podcast, but I have a question.
Okay.
It's because you said, you know that the music finds you. And I immediately started thinking of what do you think in the music found you? What do you think that was seeking, that found you in your soul and heart?
Oh, wow. That's a
Because
pretty...
it cured and healed something that it created this podcast and this community.
I don't know. It's just I grew up in a very conservative Christian home, went to an independent Baptist school, and music was, especially secular music was looked down on.
Yeah.
And I had a friend, and I'm hoping that he watches this interview, but his name is Alan Power, and he's one of the vice
Hi,
presidents
Alan.
of Salem Communications. But he, at 14, when we were in ninth grade, got a job as a DJ. And that's really where I was the only person that I knew of that really was into secular music, but Alan was as well.
Right.
And he was the president of our student body in his senior year, and he was given the choice to give up his job on radio versus being the president of the student body because he played secular music.
And what did he choose?
He chose the radio.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
Good
And
for
it was
him.
an excellent choice because
for
there was
him.
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that was so much of a healing journey for me, but it was almost like, and now that I look back on it, it was more like an inspiration to, yes, I'm going to continue going for what I know is for me. And so I don't know that really answers that question on that, but there were
No,
different...
I think it does answer the question of, you saw somebody else doing it, so that gave you the power to be like, I can find the healing journey for me, whatever that may be.
Right. And, and I've shared this on the podcast and with a lot of people in my life, but a turning point for me with live music was Lynyrd Skynyrd played their last show in my hometown of Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep.
I had tickets, and I was sick, and I couldn't go. I had been out of school that day, and I grew up in a home, if you didn't go to school, then you didn't do anything else that day.
Yeah.
So I was 15, and I gave up my ticket, and they crashed that night after they left the auditorium. And I was driving to school that day. WQOK was our local radio station, and it came on that Ronnie and a lot of the band members had been killed in the accident. And I vowed at that point that I would never miss a show that I was intended to go see. I would find a way to go.
I have goosebumps.
That was a turning point for me.
I literally have goosebumps.
And
I hate the fact that I have hairy arms, but all of the hair is standing up on my arms.
Well, and it was wild because 10 years later, after that, there was no more Lynyrd Skynyrd. And 10 years later, they decided to tour again. And Johnny Van Zant, his brother, was doing the lead vocals. And I was by myself in Columbia, South Carolina, working at the hospital as a nurse. And I knew they were coming to town. It was their 10-year reunion tour. And I went to the show by myself. Nobody would go with me.
Good for you.
And
Good
there was
for
a
you.
guy, sitting next to me, and I don't know who he is, can't even remember his face. But at the very end of the concert, they put Ronnie's hat on the mic stand, and it was all instrumental Freebird, and that was the end of the show. And I
Iconic.
boo-hooed.
Literally iconic.
Right?
That's iconic.
And that was the, so that was kind of like my gift, I think, for missing that.
And I love that you're bringing your gift to like so many other people. Again, I'm sorry for asking the
No,
question.
no,
'cause I was like, this is your podcast.
Well, how long have you been in radio?
So 12 years.
Really?
I know. I don't look that old.
You're amazing.
I look like a baby. No, but yeah, 12 years that I've been in radio, and I've been very lucky the entire time that a lot of the time, like whenever you start in radio, you have to move from job to job to different cities to like move your way up. Mm-hmm. I got so lucky.
Right. Because you grew up in Tennessee, correct?
Born and raised in Nashville.
Right. I thought that was correct.
I grew up listening to the morning show that I started working on. And then I got the morning show afterward. So I got very lucky. And that does not happen in radio. Like, so now, this is not a normal thing.
No, it's not. Well, and it's kind of like the same thing when I moved to Nashville and was working at Vanderbilt. I ran it. I just ended up with a crowd. I knew no one. And I just ended up with a crowd of people who they were old Nashville. Of course, this is the late 80s.
Yeah, people just know people.
But one of my buddies that was a songwriter, he was like, Julie, you've met and know more people in 1 year than I've had know in 20 years here. But it was because, as a songwriter in this city, you tend to be a little bit more reserved because you're trying to... You don't want people to steal your ideas. You don't want people to steal your art.
I also feel like they're constantly trying to prove something to somebody that actually doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, when you're looking at songwriters and people in the industry, they're constantly trying to prove something that at the end of the day, those people don't mean anything. They may be the CEO of this label. They may be the CEO of that. But guess what? Next week, they're fired.
Right.
Like, are your connections with actual humans strong enough?
Right.
That makes a difference in your life. And I think that is the most important part of like growing your career.
Right.
Especially in the music industry, is a lot of my friends started out as like, they were just like promo techs on the tour. Mm-hmm. They were selling merch.
Right.
And now they're the day-to-day manager for major artists.
Right.
Because they stood the course. And if I had chosen to be friends with, if I had chosen logically to be like, oh, let me be friends with the CEO because it'll make good business-wise, versus let me be friends with people that actually mean something to me, mm-hmm. I feel like that made the difference. It's like, I still am friends with those people, and now they are the heads of those companies. Right.
Well, and it goes back to our conversation earlier, just being true to who you are, and you just walked your path. When I went into business for myself, when I left nursing, and my husband and I did the health and safety consultant company, I had 2 young children. Both of our kids were 7, 5 months apart. I had a bonus son, and I was like, how in the world am I going to do this and leave active practice at the hospital? 12-hour shifts, trying to work around the kids' schedule, just really getting hammered with all the day in and day out of being an ER nurse. And I said, and what I did is I prayed about it. And I said, Lord, if you'll open the doors of opportunity, I'll walk through them. Yeah. The ones that aren't for me, I'll turn around and walk back out, because I have the ability to make that choice to go in that door or out that door. Yep. And after that, I didn't need to pray about that anymore, because the work just came, and it came when I needed it, and it came. I had clients, and now we're 100.
Now look at you.
Now here we are in Nashville, Tennessee, hanging out with Zac. Right?
Crazy. Yeah.
And then just look where life takes you, and it's just follow that journey, go through those doors, stay where you're supposed to stay, and leave where you're supposed to leave. And so
I think I will like to add to that is sometimes it gets really hard. Mm-hmm. And that's okay to be like, hey, I'm going through a hard moment. And at that point, I feel like it's okay to be vulnerable and tell people.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I'm going through a hard time. I'm struggling. This is what I want. And I promise you, people have your back.
Yes, they do.
They want the best for you. They will help you.
Right. But you
Like,
have to be able.
Don't be scared to ask for help.
Right. Well, and it's like with the, we promote a lot of local artists and upstate, South Carolina. And, one of our guests, Shane Pruitt, which I have to shout out Hurt and Skip. They are an incredible band, and Shane's a very long-standing, accomplished guitarist.
Yeah.
But we were talking about, he was talking about being vulnerable. And
It's
when you
hard
said that,
sometimes.
it was like, because it was just like just sharing that podcast episode on his page, that is vulnerable for those artists. So
It is.
when you said that, just that it's a running theme throughout the whole time we've had the podcast. We talk about being vulnerable a lot.
So I think the best way for my way to answer that, and then like in that conversation, would be like being someone in the industry that is, whether you're an artist or a podcaster or a radio person or whatever, you're always striving for perfection.
Right.
Always looking for perfection. Mm-hmm. And you want to be the best of your craft.
Right.
And you're constantly being compared against other people. Mm-hmm. And that's okay to say, hey, I'm struggling right now and I'm trying to do my best.
Right.
And sometimes my best doesn't feel like it's good enough. And I don't know why it doesn't feel like it's good enough.
Right. Well, but the other thing is sometimes we mistake some of those feelings that they're bad. And I've always told my kids
They're
that
not
if
bad. They're not bad.
If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Yeah. They're not bad.
Right. You have
Like,
to
I
go.
want you to feel those feelings.
Right. You have to and work through those and just, yeah. But I've always told them that because they'd be, especially in college, like, yeah, but, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
It was the continuous thing of comparison. And unfortunately, my mindset now is there's no competition when you're the best. So compete, babe. Go for it.
Well, we do a lot of manifestations, or I do a lot of manifestation stuff.
Yeah.
And my podcast partner, hey, Sheris.
Hi, Sheris.
I know. She goes by Mama B.
Mama B. I wish you were here.
Well, let me tell you, when we come back, because she will be coming back with me, this is just a really busy time for her, and she couldn't make this trip.
That's fine.
But she's been dying to come up here, and you are going to love her.
I can't
She's
wait to meet Mama B.
She's crazy.
Girl, you thought she was crazy?
Oh, the two of you on the
Don't
town.
make me act
I'm
up.
like,
Do
oh,
not
God.
make me act
okay,
up.
well, so what's going to happen is we're going to come back,
Ooh.
and we're going out with you, Zach, and we're gonna paint the town.
I'm
with
gonna
you,
have to
okay?
settle down.
You are. You're just gonna. Now I'm telling you, this one, she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm telling y'all will have a great.
She said it, not me. I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
Sharon.
She said it, not me.
What brings you joy with your job?
I feel like that's a loaded question.
No, not necessarily
Yeah.
loaded as much, but like there has to be joyous pieces.
No, there's a lot. That's why
Okay,
it's a
so
loaded
that's-
question.
Okay, I got you.
Because I genuinely love what I do. And I think the most joy that brings me in my job is seeing other people happy.
Yeah.
And the fact that I get to genuinely be myself and like just bring a personality to the radio that somebody hasn't heard before and like a different perspective that somebody hasn't heard before.
Right.
And that they are happy about it and it makes them laugh and it makes them
Well, you guys get a lot of positive feedback from
we get
your
a
show.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
which is
very lucky about it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people out there. I mean, the internet is wild. you
It
know.
is ruthless.
Right? And there's no
Ruthless.
recourse. Like somebody can say something and you can't respond because they've already said it and moved on with their life.
Well,
you
they've
know?
said it and they moved on, and then they told 500 other people, and then it's just like there's no point in having that conversation and going down the negative route.
Yeah.
There's no point in that.
Right.
So I would say the greatest thing that brings me joy is the ability that I'm able to bring joy to other people.
Right.
And like the fact that someone smiles, and especially in Nashville, this sounds so dumb, but like driving in Nashville traffic and sitting and hitting potholes every day and listening to everything that's going on in the world, if you can turn the radio dial one time and it brings you one laugh on your 45-minute commute,
Right.
my day is made. My job is done.
Right. Well, and there's, because, you know, when I lived here in the late 80s, it was, you know, nothing like it is now. And I didn't have to, and of course, back then, even traffic was rough because, you know, you guys are in the middle of 65, 75, all that's coming in. And we used to get hammered with traumas because of the, you know, where
Yeah.
everything came in. It was such a big hub here. But I lived right off Music Row, and I could have walked 15 minutes to Vanderbilt from the house if I wanted to.
Yep.
You know, and I never had to get on the interstate. And then, you know,
So
it would be
you
late
were
at
the
night.
lucky ones.
Yeah, I was late at night. I worked 3 to 11. And we used to go to a place down here, and it's not here anymore, called the Cockeyed Camel. I really think Nashville, Tennessee.
Do I want to know what the cockeyed camel is?
It was a bar.
What did you do with the cockeyed camel? What exact?
I cannot
Hold,
wait.
please, let me readjust. What did you do with the cockeyed camel?
Well,
And where was it exactly?
you know, that was what I was talking to the girls about earlier today because I
I'm
can't
scared.
remember where it was. I could swear it was.
Did you
East
make this
Nashville.
up?
No, I swear to God, I didn't.
Did you dream about the cockeyed camel?
No, and let me tell you, my girlfriend Linda Durham.
Is she still alive?
She is.
Should
and
we call her?
Let's
Let's call her. Where's your phone?
Well, we're recording on it.
That's
so
fine.
We can't do it.
We can call her.
Well, can we call her afterwards?
Yeah.
And you confirm it?
Yeah.
Okay, we will. We'll do that.
Great.
I promise.
I need to
Okay.
know.
She was the bartender at the Longhorn near Vandy.
Okay.
Okay, so you know where that general area was?
Yep.
Near Max Cafe and all
Yep.
that down there? Okay. Well, she was the bartender there, and her mother was the manager for Roger Miller's, back in the day? Roger Miller had a hotel called King of the Road.
Okay.
Okay. The only hotel in Nashville, basically. All the people who came here stayed there. And so she knew all these people. So, you know.
And they all went to the cockeyed camel.
Well, I sat next to the bar next to Greg Allman that night.
Oh, I can't wait to hear all about the cockeyed
It was
camel.
really fabulous.
How did we get here?
I don't know, Zach. You and I, we could have a lot of conversation.
I know.
What do you think was one of your most rewarding interviews that you've done? Because I mean, you've been in radio 12 years now, and or a most memorable interview that you've had.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people I've talked to that were really special, and it's just kind of hard.
There's been a lot of highlights. And I will say, in my mind, the one that sticks out to this day is Kelly Clarkson.
Oh,
She was one of the most genuine, kind people on the entire planet. She radiates that, even though you're not in her presence. Like when you see her on TV and stuff, like you go, God, that girl's got some incredible energy. When you see her on TV, that is exactly who she is.
Right.
She is the kindest human on the entire planet. This sounds way out of context. If you take it out of context, I'm sorry. I just want to cuddle her.
Oh.
Because she's just so sweet. I just want to
No, that's
be the
sweet.
little spoon and let her hold me because she's so comforting.
Right. There is something about her that is very comforting.
She's a genuine human. And there's again, because I've been in it for 12 years, there are a lot of people that are not that way, that they are very robotic and they're on the radio cycle and they're doing what they have to do. They're showing up for their job. They're doing what they have to do.
Right.
And that's fine. They're checking the boxes. They're doing what they have to do.
Right.
Kelly was never one of those people.
Yeah.
She genuinely wanted to be there.
Yeah, it's like our first guest, Will James. Will is a guitarist, and I swear he he has the talent of Eddie Van Halen.
Okay.
He's like
Pop off.
Yeah, he's a slayer. But you never see Will without a smile.
I love that.
He's one of the most genuine people I've ever met, and it's that kind of thing. He just oozes goodness. Like you just want to, he's just one of those people. And so, it's funny because you feel that energy off different people, and I think that's a really cool thing about Kelly, because that makes me happy, because I've always felt like she was that kind of person, and you confirming that is pretty cool.
I love her so much, and I think it's, again, one of those things that, like, I feel in my soul, if, like, we're just so lucky to have this life. Like, there are so many people that fight every single day, paycheck to paycheck, and that don't have the ability to have what we have.
Yeah.
And that's unfair.
Right.
Like, it's not fair that everybody is not the same.
Right.
And so to, like, actually feel lucky and appreciate the fact that you're lucky.
Right.
Is so
yeah, appreciating the fact that you're lucky is the key.
Yeah, and so she actually, like, appreciated the fact that she was so lucky.
Well, she, if you had to have a dream guest on your podcast, like, who would you just absolutely love to interview if you had to interview somebody on the radio?
This is the easiest question on the entire planet. My little brother is behind the camera. Do you know the answer?
Sure.
The love of my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
Oh.
I love her so much. And I don't... Well, now it's a tough time now that I'm thinking about it. Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga.
See, now, Lady Gaga, I just have to sit and stare at her for a while. When she did that whole
She's so
dive...
cool.
When she
She's
did
so
that
cool.
dive bar tour...
Yes, I was there.
Were you at the one in Nashville?
Yes, and I cried the entire time.
Where were you in the bar?
Like 3 rows back.
Okay, because you've seen the videos of it, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh my God, I was so... Did you know she was going to be there? Oh. Did anybody else in the bar know it? So when she came out as Joanne, and that what she did that night?
Yeah.
Okay. See,
Yep.
I do know what I'm talking about.
I'm proud of you.
I'm like, yes. When she did Million Reasons, I was like, okay, I'm done.
The way that I bawled. But like like the interview question of like, who do you want to interview? Like in my mind, I turn it as to like, who do I want to sit and have a glass of tea with?
Yeah.
Like with no cameras on, no nothing,
Right.
no microphones.
Right.
Like who do I want to hang out with for like 30 minutes and just have a glass of tea with?
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I just want to like, I feel like I want to know them.
Right. Yeah. Well, she's, and Miley, well, when I lived here, Billy Ray was just coming up in the music industry. He'd just done Achy Breaky.
Yep.
And he won that year for the Grammys. He won Best New Country Song or something.
I think the most fascinating part about Miley to me is because she grew up in Thompson Station, Tennessee, which is not far from Nashville.
Right.
And so I was like, she grew up in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And she made this career. And then I watched the 20th anniversary Hannah Montana special, and I saw the entire audition process and like how she went through it. And I was like, I'm so interested.
Right. And now you really want to sit down and have that
Yes.
glass of tea with her, don't you?
I just want to sit down at the dining room table and have like chicken and asparagus and like pick what's going on in her mind.
Not the chicken and asparagus.
I feel like that's what she would eat. She seems very skinny and healthy. I don't know.
That's great. I was like, okay, really? Chicken and
I
asparagus?
feel like that's what she would eat. I don't know.
Well, my team at home, they're going to be like, okay, Julie, you know you could do this. They're always behind the camera going, okay. But so I know I have to wrap this up because of recording and getting it on YouTube.
Let's wrap her up, babe.
But so what do you see in the future happening with radio in Nashville? Because we have lost some of our really, I mean, and I'm a rock and roll girl, okay?
Icons.
So like our radio station 101.1 got switched from classic rock and roll to we are now big buck country. And I think it's
In
iHeart.
Nashville?
No, in Greenville at
I
home.
was like,
okay,
no.
and no, at home, right? But I think my question is that we are losing a lot of our traditional radio stations and our local people.
Yep.
What do you see in the future of that for local here in Nashville?
Another loaded question.
Sorry.
No, you're fine because yes, I see a lot of local talent unfortunately being let go.
Yeah.
And then they're moving syndicated shows from other stations in other cities into that city to make it sound local.
Right.
Even though we know they're not.
Correct.
We know they're not. What I think is going to happen is because they are doing that so often and they see those stations losing, that they're going to realize the value in having local personal talent.
Yeah.
And that's what they call us, talent. I'm not a talent. I'm just a radio person. I just talk on the radio.
Yeah, but you have to have a talent for that. Not
But,
everybody can feel comfortable with that.
That's like one of the very lucky things that our station has not done yet is they're still keeping all of the local talent because they're seeing all of the other stations that are pulling in syndicated talent and then the ratings tank. Mm-hmm. And people know that they're not local. People can feel the disconnect. People know.
Right.
So I do think that it will be a turning curve of being like, hey, we realize we have to have local talent in these local markets.
Right.
To make it feel, not even make it feel, to make it personal.
Right.
To make us a family, a community, because that's what we are.
It's community helping community is kind of the way I see things in the entertainment world as a whole.
Yeah. So I think corporate was like, oh, let's not even just our corporate, every
one of them. There's no prejudice with that.
They were like, okay, let's cut the bottom line. How can we save money?
Right.
And that's what they were doing. They were cutting the local talent of saying, oh, we're paying them this much money, or we can pay the syndicated talent $500 a year to do that market. So they would go pick and
so
choose
you're
them
pinging
to pay them nothing.
Yeah.
And then they would see the return in ratings of like, well, if we don't have ratings, then we don't have sales. If we don't have sales, then we don't have a radio station.
Right.
So I personally think it's going to turn.
Right.
When they realize, hey, if we don't have money on the books because we don't have local talent, then we have none of us have a job.
Right. Well, and when our local station 101 went, then one of the guys, that's one of our DJs in the afternoon, I was so happy to see that 93.3, The Planet, which is another rock station, picked him up because I'm like, no, we can't get rid of Stone Man. Are you kidding me?
There is, they will pick him up, but for how long?
Right. What is that going to do with that?
But then I hope that shows the other company that they picked him up, so local talent does matter.
Local talent really does matter.
That is end of story. Local talent matters. Local talent is what sells, and unfortunately, that's every business has to sell.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make money.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So if you don't have local talent, you can't sell, then you don't have ratings, and you have no radio station.
Right.
Period. Then no one has a job.
Right. Well, you guys added on. I kind of tried to do a little bit of research just to have some, and it's like, was it 2 years ago that you guys added Kevin Mano into
We
the show?
did indeed.
So what led to you guys bringing him onto the show?
So it was originally in like a heritage morning show that was
Right.
there, and then Ricky and I took over the show.
Right.
And so we thought we were very well balanced, but like when you think about the actual demographic of people that listen to the show, we're both in our very early 30s,
Right.
not married, no children, no nothing.
Right.
And we were like, we need someone that is like a parent, that has had life advice, that has
Or at
gone
least
through
like an
things.
uncle to you.
Literally like our
Right.
uncle to it. Something that will like add to round out the circle, basically.
Yeah, because when you do that,
It
then
was
you add a
very-
different perspective as well.
We wanted to add the other perspective, and it felt very much so like it was just two young college people running a radio station.
Right.
If people were listening, they were like, "You girl, you've never been in a car wreck before. Like, you don't know how to file an insurance claim. Like, why would we listen to your show? No."
But yeah, so how's it been going since Kevin joined the crew?
I love him so much, and I think the show is so much more like rounded
You
out.
think it has more depth to it? Now
I
that
think
he's-
it adds more depth and more conversation
Right.
because, like, Ricky and I are typically on the same page,
Right.
about everything.
Right.
So to have the other competing conversation, not necessarily competing, but like a different perspective, then we can bounce questions off of,
Right.
and it adds more depth and more conversation for everybody to be involved.
Right.
And I think that's the point of our show is everybody feel comfortable and everybody be involved at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool concept. I love that. And I love that
That's the
y'all brought him
idea.
on. It was very neat to look at that and realize that too. So, well, we're wrapping it up. Thank you so much, Zach, for being here today. You've been amazing. And what a fun guest you are. We're coming back,
I was
baby.
being calm.
We're coming back because we're going to see the wild side
No,
of Zach.
you do not want to see that. I promise you.
Okay. Well, we'll see about that.
Well, thank you, Mama Juju.
I love you so
I love
much.
you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.